So welcome back, friends. We have something here today, or I have something here to share with you that is very interesting. Something you may not have seen before, a very old design. And I had never come across anything like this. This was generously sent here by my friend Ken, who you may have remember that crazy angle brace that I did a video on a couple weeks back? Well, this was one of the many things that he sent out, more of which I'll be sharing, that I found very, very interesting. Can you figure out what that is? You ever seen something like this? Made in USA? I wasn't sure. I had an idea when I first saw it. I think I thought that I knew what it was because I had seen it in the encyclopedia of ancient tools that I reference. But let's go take a look at the book and see if we can't find it in there. All right, let us check the old Dictionary of American Hand Tools. That's my reference books for this. Has solved many a mystery for me. This book also was a gift to me from my good friend Big Lou down in California. And I remembered somewhere in the middle that indeed I had seen this beauty before. And sure enough, the previous page here we have old nail pullers, different nail hold set. There's things in here I've never seen before, but this here I'm pretty sure was, and of course it is, that's exactly what it is. It is a nail puller. A nail puller for gripping and grabbing those stubborn nails that you just can't get out. How many times have you tried to pull a nail with your framing hammer and break the head off, and once that's gone, well, good luck getting that out. You end up just pounding it back in. But this, with these little nippers on here, little pinchers, I would imagine that you could grab almost anything. We've got this bar there for leverage, and this is kind of cool here, a telescoping handle so that you can get a little added leverage on it. Now, when I first saw this, I couldn't believe how good a condition it was in. I mean, I was looking at it, and it's obviously cast steel of some sort. It's got some sort of a paint on it, the enamel. But I mean, not even the paint was worn off. I mean, you would expect a tool that was really old to be all of these high points here that stick up proud. Of course, the paint would be gone from bouncing around years of a toolbox. And of course, we've got a name cast in here, the Crescent brand, which is still with us today. And I got to thinking, is this a reproduction, or was just some sort of a time capsule that made it through the generations unused in a box somewhere? So I did a quick search on it, and sure enough, the number 56 Sure Grip, made in USA, is still being produced by the Crescent brand, and they're for sale on Amazon. I was shocked. I didn't think that you could find something like this that was cast like this, that was still American made, a reproduction that appears to be pretty good quality, pretty decent for what it is. We'll try it out. We'll see if it works. So we've got just a basic handle. We've got, it stymied me there. What was the reason for this hole right there? Why did they put that hole in there? And then it kind of dawned on me, well, there's a pin. You see that? There's a stop pin. That pin keeps it from coming out. And upon further investigation, I realized, well, there would be no way to install that pin when you were assembling it unless you had a hole there. So that must be what that was for. They would have drifted that pin in there and probably mushroomed the ends out as a retainer to keep that piece from falling off right there. Over here on this end is non-painted, and I don't know why, if it's just aesthetics, but it's non-painted on this portion, or is it hardened? I took a file on it to see, and it's not super hard, but you're talking a lot of force right on there. I mean, just try to go pull a 16-penny galvanized nail out of a hard piece of wood. I mean, it is, they don't call them tough as nails for nothing, because they are certainly tough. So let's test it out and see how it works. Okay, so here's the problem. Let's say we've got something, a fascia board or something that we didn't measure right, or we want to take off and replace, and we've got these nails that are kind of sunk in there a little bit too far. We can't get our claw hammer on there. There's no way to get behind it. Now the present method, for me growing up in the trades, was of course to use a cat's paw. This is a cat's paw tool, and this is nice because you can carry it in your tool belt, and what it's designed to do is you take your framing hammer and you drive it in there behind the nail, and there's nothing that you can't get out pretty much with a cat's paw, providing that the head doesn't break off. Problem being with this is that if you have a piece of wood that you want to save, you know, the appearance of, it really destroys the wood. It puts a lot of damage in the wood and usually pulls a big chunk out. Not only that, but on your very expensive titanium framing hammers, of course, it destroys the waffling on the end. So that is always a bit of a problem. So let's see, and there's not much sticking out there. Let's see if we can't pull this out with the nail nipper. I guess that's what we'll call it. So if we, that's asking a lot. There's not a lot to get a purchase on it. Might not be, wait a minute, oh, it's so close. If we were to, maybe we can use this like a slide hammer. There we go. Get that in there a little bit. Now, I'll pull this out. I'm thinking if it bites on there, this is a big nail, old galvanized nail. Look at that. Boy, that's the business right there, isn't it? No damage to the wood. That came right out of there. Let's try another one. Here we have another nail. Of course, this one's not galvanized, or it doesn't look galvanized. It's got a little rust on it. But yeah, you can see the difference between a non-galvanized, well, that's a smaller nail too, but the difference between a non-galvanized nail and a sinker, the galvanized, they hold like the devil. Let's up the ante right here. So we'll take a nail there. This is another one of those big galvanized nails that I sunk that down in there. So I don't know if this is an unintended consequence or if this was by design. You know, if it's the old design, very few things were left to chance. But the ability to slide hammer that, to me, is well, if it was unintended, it was a very fortunate side effect. Look at that. That extra handle on there makes all the difference. I am impressed. Impressed. So the effectiveness of this nail puller, you know, is without question. My only question, or the only thing left, is will it hold up? That's a lot of force on those little teeth right there. Sometimes these things these reproductions, they suffer a bit from material. Let's pull a few more out here, and we'll see if it'll break. Boy, that is really neat. I don't know of anything else I've ever seen in the trades that could quite duplicate this. So let's try this. Let's say, we'll give it a little bit more of a challenge. Let's say we got one of those nasty things and the head comes off, right? I love using a hacksaw in videos so everyone can tell me that I'm not using it right. I know, you push, you don't pull. Let's say that's what we got right there. So what happens when you put your framing hammer on that? You know, or even your cat's paw. I mean, you take your cat's paw. Sometimes you can, of course, you know, you can bend it around this way, and that's a good way to get it out, but you do mar up the wood a little bit, and you have to do it multiple times, and it's not great. So what happens if we just bite right on the end of that right there, huh? Is there enough clamping power here in the jaws to hold that? Pretty good here. Pretty good. Yeah, there is. How about that? So I've broken out ye old electron microscope here to take a close look at these jaws. What did we do? We pulled 4 nails out, and you can see there that this is not overly hard. A little bit of, I can see a couple little nicks in there, a little dents, but you know, obviously nothing broke or cracked. I would question if you had a whole bunch of nail pulling to do, would it last? You know, that I'm not sure about. I think for me, you know, I guess the question is, would this work itself into my rotation of my go-to tools? And I'd have to say it would be not tier 1, but like a framing hammer or a cat's paw, but it would be tier 2. It would be close by at the ready. If I would want it in my toolbox if I had something that I needed to get out and there was just no other option. I don't know anything by today's standards that would be this effective or that could do any better. That's what's so fun about some of these old tools, is that is man's ability. There hasn't been anybody that's been able to improve upon this original design. That sometimes makes me marvel at the cleverness of those old guys, that there was a need and they came up with a solution like this. But that's very interesting. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good replica of a very effective and useful old tool. Thanks again, Ken, for your generosity. More to come from what Ken has sent out. I've got some even more interesting things than this, but this is a lot of these old tools are interesting, but not really practical in today's world. If you're talking about production, construction, it's actually pretty rare to come across one that you could actually say, oh, this could actually is better than what I can get today by current standards. But this is something that would fill a need that without this, I wouldn't have had the ability to pull a heavy galvanized nail out of something and also leaving the surface pretty much unmarred or a lot less marred than, let's say, the cat's paw. So that, to me, I find is kind of exciting and makes it a real oddity or a real rarity among a lot of the vintage tools. But pretty simple, pretty cool. I'm going to include this. I'm actually going to put it at my shelf there with my pry bars and my construction stuff, because this is something that I think I would use actually quite often. I really do like it, and it seems pretty well built and pretty tough and robust. So if this is something you think you could use, I will put a link, an Amazon link, in the description, subject, or whatever. I think last time I checked, they were around $40. Now, a couple notes on my Amazon affiliate links. When I do review something on Amazon, it's almost what inevitably happens is the price goes up higher than what I originally did it. I don't know when that's going to happen, and I think what happens with that is that the seller usually sells out. So, of course, you can go and search on Amazon for a price on something, and it'll be listed by multiple sellers, and we all usually choose the lowest priced one. Well, there's a limited quantity. Well, once the video goes live, so many of you guys purchase these products that they simply get sold out. So the next thing that comes up when you're Johnny come late to the party, when you search it, it'll bump you up to another seller, is what I suspect is happening, who has the next price increase. So the prices that I do include on those affiliate links that's what I paid for it. So I have no control over if the price raises. I guess the thing that I would tell you is wait a little bit, let it come back into stock, and chances are you probably find it for the same price that I purchased it at. But as of the making of this video, this little guy, I think it was around the $42 range or so, but that surprises me. I'd never expected to be an affiliate link on this guy. I thought this was old, just an old vintage tool, but it appears to be a replica, but it seems to be a good one at that. So that's it. That's my review of the Sure Grip Made in USA number 56 crescent nail puller, and I have to say it's a good one.